Okay. Hello and welcome to Tower Duo Podcast. So we have previously made a pilot episode, and now we'll be beginning with the actual first episode. So, just like last time, I am here with my friend Connor, and we are going to be talking about the things that Generation 8 has done well.
Yeah, I feel like in our first episode, we kind of made Generation look pretty bad compared to the other games. But honestly, I don't know. I've got a lot of warm feelings about Generation 8 that I feel like we should have talked about a little more. So this
Okay.
is a bit of apology video, I guess. Not, I mean, pretty far from that because, I mean, I still stand by what I said in the first episode. But,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
there's a lot of good things about it, too.
Okay, so Connor, you suggested this topic. What were your thoughts in particular? Like, was there anything specific that you wanted to touch on right away?
Well, I mean, I guess the main thing that I really have a lot to say about Generation 8, and I guess kind of the whole Pokemon series by extension is when I first, played through, Pokemon Sword and Shield, I was having a ton of fun with it. Like, I thought it was a great game, but then, like, when I started hearing other people's opinions about it, like, YouTubers and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh yeah, I guess that is a thing that's bad about the game.
Hmm.
It
Okay.
kind of made me think differently about it, even though my original opinion was that, oh yeah, this is a great Pokemon game. But then when I heard other people's opinion, that kind of changed a lot in me. And I feel like a lot of people think that way too.
Yeah.
They form their own opinion about something, and then people say, no, you're wrong, and this is
Hmm.
why. And like, oh, okay, well, then I'm just going to abandon my opinion. And,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just here to say, like, it's a pretty good game. And I guess, a few of the reasons. I'd say my favorite, like, one of the best things about it has got to be the way that they like just the whole idea of the wild area. And like, you've never, like, they introduced all these really cool mechanics that really
Mm-hmm.
changed the fundamentals of Pokemon. And now, you have a controllable camera. You have all these there. You have real people walking around, even though it wasn't implemented very well. But the idea was there that you
Mm-hmm.
can just turn around and, oh, there's your friend just playing in a completely different system, walking alongside you. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean that's great. The wild area.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my thoughts at first, like until I heard other people complain, was like I felt like the graphics were very good. Like I think
Yeah.
that Pokemon is right now it's incrementing real in its realism at an appropriate space where I feel like if they were trying to make it as realistic as possible, that wouldn't be the best thing for Pokemon
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it almost sorts of like the more realistic you make something,
Mm-hmm.
the the more it's like annoying that it's like unrealistic. Like there's some things that are inherently unrealistic about Pokemon. Actually, there's a lot. And and so I think that like they're doing a good job of staying out of the uncanny valley. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
if they can continue to do that and then maybe one day they'll just make like a rapid jump to the other side of the uncanny valley.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even
Like,
know.
I don't know about that. Just the way
Yeah.
that, like, are you saying like it would basically be just like Detective Pikachu but a video game?
I I'm I'm thinking that like once once they know that they can like definitely do that, I
Mm-hmm.
think they might attempt to do something like that. I think once they know they can do it well.
Yeah. I
Um
mean, I don't know. I feel like I disagree with you
yeah.
there because they would have to change every single Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
and totally revamp their designs. And I don't know. I just find that hard to believe. Like they're definitely going to look sharper, and I
Yeah.
feel like Sword and Shield. In most places, I feel like the routes in the cities they look really good. The
Mm-hmm.
only place where the graphics weren't as great was the wild area.
Yeah.
Everything else was pretty fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you were saying with the Uncanny Valley, so the first few games they were definitely like Generation 1, 2, 3, 4. They were all like totally on the other side of it, and obviously the transition to 3D is going to move it
Mm-hmm.
a lot closer. But I
Yeah.
do feel like they've definitely stayed pretty far away that you can still kind of imagine what life would be like if that world were real, and that's
Mm-hmm.
really cool. Like
Right.
that's probably the main reason I got so attached to Pokemon in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. What's interesting is like with the first couple of generations, they were really pushing the boundaries of what was possible on the Game Boy hardware.
True.
There was basically nothing else that looked like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of feel like Generation 3 was a little weird because it was the only generation on that console. But then I feel like what sort of happened after that is like Generations 4 and 5, it was like we have an upgraded experience and then we have a much more like pushing the hardware to its limits sort of experience. And then that same thing happened again with Generations 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering like okay, so we have this and if we have this like generation 8 as a baseline, it's a very strong graphical baseline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do feel like it's definitely far from pushing the Switch to its limits, though. I,
Right. Yeah.
like it definitely lines up more like with Generation 3 than with the other ones when it comes to
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
software. But I also don't think 4 pushed the software too hard. I feel like definitely 5, 6, and 7 did though.
Mm. Mm-hmm. I think I've heard something that actually it's like ORAS is like the laggiest game. Like if you put like I think someone did a test of like putting like they hacked in like I want to say like 6 Hoopa Unbounds and put them all in like a
Oh yeah,
perfect
no, I
battle.
actually saw that clip.
Yeah,
Oh my,
yeah, you saw that. You've seen that. And
yeah, down the so bad.
yeah.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But
Um
yeah, so another thing that I was thinking about that Generation 8 did really well, and I feel like it's something that the Pokemon series has always kind of had,
right.
would be the music with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really appreciate the music that they had. It was awesome. I really like all the different styles that they went with. And it really, tells the story, the music itself. So I don't know. What do you think about that, Andrew?
Um yeah, I think the music for me always felt very appropriate. Always seemed
Mm.
like when you're in the Gleamwood whatever it's called like
Oh yeah, the Glenwood Tangle, I
yes,
think.
Gleamwood Tangle. Like
Mm-hmm.
that just seemed like it's very unconventional music, but it works because
Yeah.
that's like a very like unconventional place. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not just your average forest, and it's definitely not a town.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's something that's very good that they were able to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually went back and listened to that song a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that there was more of an incentive to go like back to the routes and to do things there,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
after you've gone through them once, it's kind of like, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just gonna use the flying taxi to go everywhere now. I think I'm okay.
Yeah, I think that they're definitely still like working through what they're gonna do in like the post HM world. I think that they've gotten a lot better, and I think it's this really delicate balance of like you don't want to make it too inconvenient, but you also don't want to make things too convenient.
Yeah.
Um, And so I think that they made things maybe too convenient in the Let's Go games, and so they sort of eased up on that with these games.
Mhm.
I feel like that's
I don't know. I wouldn't say that
yeah.
they were too convenient.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know, you had the secret techniques in place
Yeah.
of the HMs, which
Right.
honestly, I think the secret techniques were a really good idea. It was just like, yeah, it's HMs, but like you don't have to have Pokemon for them. You just use your partner for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. Why do you say that they're convenient in that game?
Um, because I feel like I think part of it's the regions. Like everyone basically knows Kanto very well,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like yeah, basically everything's like kind of right there, and you're very well guided right to it, and
Yeah.
that's sort of
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the
um,
paths are really like straightforward. You don't really have to worry
mm-hmm,
about, having your progress halted by anything. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, that's the thing is like with the older regions, you're never gonna have like a supposedly linear path that goes at like a 30-degree angle and then takes like a slight slight right and then like a slight left or something like that because it just wasn't technologically possible on those older consoles. But now that we have like route, I'm trying to think of like I think it's Route 10. I think it's like the last route where there's like all
Yeah.
these different ways
The
to go.
snowy one?
The snowy one. But there's like all these different ways to go, and how there's like this one little corner where you can find I think it's a vomit snow or something
Yeah.
like that.
Uh-huh.
Like the routes are a lot more. I don't want to call them realistic, because a realistic route would literally just be like a paved road.
I mean, yeah, compared to the other games, though, they're definitely more realistic, I would say.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um.
No, I definitely
Yeah.
see what you mean. Like, they can do so
Yeah.
much more just because they're not really, you're not walking on a grid anymore. Like, you can
Right.
actually,
Yeah.
you have 60-degree movement and everything.
Yeah.
And because of that, you can make things look like they would in the real world, and that actually goes back to what you were saying about the uncanny valley and
Yeah.
everything along those lines. Like, yeah, it is kind of moving closer and closer to being realistic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. um Man, yeah,
What?
I mean, that topic's pretty well explored by now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing that's definitely always going to be unrealistic, and it's a very good stylistic choice, is like distance between things and amount of time that it takes to get there. Like we're talking a region based on England. Now, obviously, like there's like time skips. Like you get on the train, time skip to the end. But if
Mhm.
you were to just like walk, like yeah, like yes, we say oh it takes so long to get from wherever to wherever. Um, but if you think about it, like you just went from like the equivalent of I don't know places in England very well, but like you went from like Manchester to London walking the Pokemon equivalent of Manchester to the Pokemon equivalent of London
Mhm.
walking in 30 minutes. That's probably a lot. That's probably a really long estimate.
Yeah, that's a really long estimate.
Like if you're like not paying attention to and like fighting every single Pokemon that you encounter
Yeah.
on the way.
Yeah, no, I was thinking just like running through with a like repel. Like, yeah, that would
No,
be
I
something
wasn't.
like,
I wasn't talking repel. I wasn't even talking running. I was like literally talking walking.
oh, not even holding the stick all the way down, like
No,
holding it
not
halfway.
even
Oh,
holding like walking like properly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that still would not be a half hour.
No.
But I don't know. Maybe if you were just like running into every Pokemon you saw, it would be a half
Yeah.
hour.
Shiny hunting.
Yes. Shiny hunting with
Just shining
no
hunting your way through the
power.
region. But like,
Just
oh,
literally
I showed up in half an hour. Oops.
no.
Or if you're Leon.
Oh yeah, or if you're Leon and your pants with directions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. So wait, I had something that I was gonna say, and now I'm
Mm-hmm.
blanking on it.
Okay. Maybe the next thing that I say will bring it back to you. So what I was gonna say is that I felt like was very good is the way that they wrote the villains. I feel like was a lot more competent than they used to be with writing their
Hmm.
villains. Like, I'm thinking about like they used to write villains like Team Aqua Magma, and that was like we're gonna either flood the continent or we're gonna drain the sea, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
okay.
Like okay,
And it's like
sure.
versus like these villains like it's like that's the thing that like actually happens is like a corrupt corporation is trying to like use a resource like use up a resource in an area um
Mm.
and trying to build like just like stupid amounts of wealth off of it and it's like well
Well,
that's
wait. Was he trying to build wealth off it? I thought he was like trying to prevent like the darkest day from happening again or whatever. Like, wasn't it like in like 1,000 years or something that was going to happen?
I'm not entirely sure. I know that getting rich was like part of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely
No,
part of it.
obviously, yeah.
um I don't know if that was like his secret actual motivation or if that was just like his like just like not secret actual motivation.
Yeah,
um
like bear in mind that we haven't like actually played through the main story in a while,
yeah.
so we're a bit rusty on all the details.
It's been I feel like wasn't he trying to unleash the darkest day but to what to I think it was like an alternatives type of thing like it was trying to
Yeah,
catch it or something.
I don't, I don't remember.
We're gonna look
Like,
so
I know he was
stupid.
using Eternatus
Yeah.
to like harness energy, like under
Yeah.
the stadium,
Mm-hmm.
but
I
I
think it
don't.
was.
I'm pretty sure he was trying to prevent it because he was like,
Yeah.
Leon, we can't have the your match with the main character yet. Like, we have to put these measures in place to as soon as we possibly can.
I think we're overlooking. I think we're overthinking it a little bit. I think he just wanted to look like he could solve any problem by creating a problem that he was able to solve.
True.
That's
Yeah.
that.
I
That's
mean,
really what it was. Just so he could
mhm.
like get his grasp on the city that he apparently owns.
Yeah.
Which
And
if you
everyone
read,
in that city like totally respected him and
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think another really well written character
mm-hmm,
would be Bede. He
yeah,
like okay, bear like as I said in the first episode, if you even remember that at that point at this point.
mm-hmm,
I didn't play through Generation 6 or 7, so I don't really know exactly what happened in those games. Like
yeah,
I've seen what they look like, but I haven't actually
yeah.
played them,
Okay,
so I don't play too well. But I feel like a lot of like so many things happen in the main story that doesn't really happen in the games that I've played before. And so
oh
with
yeah,
Bede, at the beginning of the story, he's just this stuck up
right,
brat.
yeah,
Is like, oh, I got endorsed by Chairman Rose, so that means I'm the best trainer ever.
mm-hmm,
And he loses
mm-hmm,
and develops his character, and he's like,
yeah,
well, and then he gets kicked out.
yeah,
Uh, so he says, screw it, I'm just going to be a gym leader.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so becomes a gym leader, and then he is kind of a really different person than
mm-hmm.
he was at the beginning, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean endorsements are new. Generation 6 had a lot of useless characters. They're like too many characters,
Yeah,
and because of that, like they really didn't
yeah,
do.
like you don't really care about
Yeah,
them.
yeah. There could have been there's a lot of wasted potential and some of the like extra rivals that didn't actually want to be your rival, and it was not very good. So I'm glad to see that they cleaned that up in Gen 7, really polished it in Gen 8.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like at the beginning of the story,
mm-hmm.
there's this whole scene that's set up, and at the end of it, it's a totally different scenario.
Right.
I was watching the what's the name of the show? The new Pokemon anime show, and it's obvious. Like I know exactly where in the story, like where in the Galar timeline that show is taking place.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's happening before the events of Sword and Shield took place, but like right before the events of Sword and Shield took place.
Yeah.
And but if that was, I look at a different region and I'm like, oh yeah, I have no idea what has happened here. So I just think that's really cool that you can just tell the events that take place are actually really significant and they make a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it being like, okay, you're champion now, but no one even cares.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Like the games will not let you make the wrong decision, but the decisions you make, forced or not, um, have like actual impacts now. Whereas I feel like I feel like in recent times we've seen the rise of the optional dialogue where like someone will tell you something and you can be like, oh yeah, or you can be like, oh yeah, you know, like, or I mean, it wouldn't have the same dialogue, but like two different takes on the same thing, and like that'll sometimes like actually impact stuff. And the fact that you like have those options where it used to be just like read this, your character says absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
um,
No,
yeah.
you're right for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I don't know, you didn't see that much of that like in any Pokemon game that I've played. Like there was a little bit of it in Sword and Shield, but like yeah, like as you were saying, it didn't really impact the story that much.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be really cool for Pokemon to kind of start taking that approach where you actually do make a difference.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like if you like if there started to be like Pokemon games like with like an alternate ending where like there will be a point where you make a decision that isn't just um that isn't just what do I say to my friend, but like actually something like big like I don't know.
Will you join the evil Pokemon team,
Yeah.
or will you side with
Yeah.
Chili Four?
Yeah, I did we talk about this last time, or did
Yeah.
we? Yeah. Yes, like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was like in the previous episode that people have seen,
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure.
or if it was in the canceled episode.
We talk about this stuff kind of like a lot, so
yeah,
it should be easy to mix it up.
Yes. So I think that would be like it would like a really strong move. Like make a Pokemon game with more than one ending.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not like there's this big like Pokemon universe where like like this ending needs to have happened or this universe won't make any sense.
Yeah. It's not exactly like the games are super connected. I mean, there is like Red shows up in like multiple games, basically every game.
Yeah. I don't think he showed us up in Sword and Shield though, does
no.
He?
But
yeah, Sword and Shield did a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
They broke a lot of traditions that way.
Yeah, doesn't on the Isle of Armor, I think like if you give Honey enough watch, she'll say like we called up the champions of like other regions and it's too far away. So apparently like in Pokemon that might be like a good explanation. It's like Galar is just far away from all of the other regions because it's presumably in like the Pokemon world's southern hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only way for the cold part to be in the south.
Makes sense.
And
yeah.
the warm part to be in the north. So even though it's based in the UK,
I love how there's just a desert,
Yeah,
just like
there's
in the
just a
middle
desert
of
in
it,
the
and
middle.
then you've just got the cold stuff at the top.
Yeah, although
But
yeah,
that's kind of what every Pokemon game does.
the crown dungeon is some weird biomes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you go
for
from
sure.
like these meadows to forest to like this like freezing cold place that's supposedly the whole thing because it's called the crown tundra.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no. Like I think the DLC is like okay, I of course I can't like turn down extra content. Like there is the argument that hey, that stuff should have been in the game to begin with.
mhm.
But definitely adding things to a game that you already like.
Yeah,
It's of course Pokemon hasn't really explored that
yeah,
concept yet, and I
mhm.
think it's a really good idea. I
Yeah.
think that think about doing that a lot, but I don't think that they should hold things back for DLC.
Hmm.
I feel like they should make the game
Yeah.
and then worry about DLC.
Hmm. Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is I like DLC until they start taking advantage of it.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. And would you say they have?
Honestly, I mean, of course, there's the national decks and everything along those lines.
Hmm.
But it is possible to still get those Pokemon, like the Pokemon that they added into the game without getting DLC. Like you
Right.
can still transfer them up from other generations. Which, of
With a bit
course,
service.
they're still making money off of you for
Right.
doing
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like you have to have a paid service in order to. Yeah. Do. We're
Mhm.
moving more and more into generally into like a subscribe to everything for money type of
Yeah,
world. Um.
I don't like
Maybe
that much because
should
I don't like
Pokemon.
keeping track of all these stupid subscriptions.
Yeah. I. I think it's like interesting because like even if you don't get the DLC, even if if you never buy it, it's still canon, right? It's still
Yeah.
like official, and like
Hmm.
all of the like official things will like expect you to have it because that's just how things are. And
Yeah.
if you make people look guilty for not having it, then they'll go out and get it because of like, oh, I should have this because all the official things expect me to. um,
Yeah, and speaking of like that's kind of an interesting thing that you said there because
yeah.
I'm really confused on what exactly the Pokemon canon is like for each game. Like
Oh, yeah.
obviously everything like the main quest of course is canon, but is the post game canon?
Hmm.
Like I don't
Is the
like
post
is
game
the
canon in
Delta
the
episode of Omega Ruby and Albus Sapphire
hmm.
canon?
Are the Japan only events that you had to actually be there canon?
True.
No.
So,
That's a
like,
no.
is your
Right.
trainer just popping off at the battle tower? Is that
Mhm.
canon?
Right.
like,
Right.
like
It's the fact that you shiny hunted for 6 hours for whatever canon.
yes. Did you is Brendan shiny hunting a Meryl canon? I
Exactly.
need to know.
Exactly. I think my answer to that, and it might be maybe not a very good answer, but it's gonna be like a very Nintendo esque answer, so that's why I feel like it's accurate. And that is every Pokemon adventure played is canon. What you make it, you decide if you're gonna sit there and shiny hunt every single Pokemon. That's canon in for your copy of White, Black,
Okay.
or whatever
Um,
generation game you might be playing. You know, if you're
but
gonna
at the
sit,
same time,
heck, you can shiny hunt in Generation One. They just won't show up as shiny until you trade them to Generation Two. So if you're gonna sit there and shiny hunt every Pokemon in Generation One, that's canon in your copy of Red, Blue, Yellow.
yeah. I mean, I guess, but I'm talking more about I don't know. Let's say
What is generally canon?
I'll bring up the anime again.
Yeah.
So if Ash goes and visits some city in the Johto region, and he finds, I don't know, characters in the Johto region, like let's say gym leaders who supposedly met your main character by now, your player character. Like, how much do they know? Like, did they? Like, I don't know. That's more what I mean.
Yeah.
Not just.
Okay. I say that it's like all like alternate universes. So like the anime characters haven't beaten a million different random player characters.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, I see what you mean. So you're saying like the anime is like not happening in the same world as all as the game. So, like,
Yeah, I'm saying not at all.
yeah, so like in the case of the analogy that I made before with like, Sword and Shield. So you're saying like Ash's universe, the player character beating Leon will never happen.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I see what you mean there. Yeah, you might be right about that. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Just because there's like, yeah, I don't see there being any possibility, because if it wasn't the case, then that would mean that Ash Ketchum, champion of the Alola region, still technically yes, because no one's beat him. I don't
It's like, I don't know. I watched to the third part.
Yeah.
I think so.
What do you even have to do in order to, like, under anime rules? What do you have to do in order to become champion, like, of the Alola region? Like, beating them anywhere, does that count, or do you have to beat them in that region in an official tournament?
Lose to like some random person, and it's like, well, no, okay, it's not. Maybe in the anime that would be the rules, but it's far from that in the game.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, yeah. I mean, technically, like in the games, you can. Okay, in the more recent games, I'm gonna say, you like, let's say you skip a random trainer, and then, and then you beat the game, and then for whatever reason, you have a party full of recently hatched eggs. Why? I don't know. But
and
you
then
have
you
a
block eyes with youngster Tristan.
Exactly, and you lose because you have a party full of recently hatched eggs that are all at level 1, and you lose. That doesn't make youngster Tristan the champion, right? But in the older games, what's interesting is like every time you go through the Elite Four, I'm talking like the old games, like Gen 3 and below. Every time you go through the Elite Four and champion, you become champion.
Yeah.
And you don't just win, right? Only in like Generation 7 and 8 does the game actually realize, oh, you're champion, and did not like.
Yeah, it doesn't like just reset itself. Like, I don't know. Yeah. I kind of thought about that.
Yeah,
a while.
It is.
My conclusion. Like, hear me out.
Yeah.
Like, definitely, Generation 1 through 4.
Yeah.
Not including Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Generation 1 through 4. After you beat the champion.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. No one ever tells you.
Yeah.
No, after, the credits roll and everything.
Yeah.
There's a person who says, you are the champion. The place where you spawn back after the game loads again is your bedroom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
What if the whole thing, you being the champion, was a dream and you're waking up in your room?
I know for a fact that in Hoenn, that if you go, I think it's Lily Cove, there's like, I don't know if it's like the trainer club or something, but like after you're champion, there will be people who say like, "Oh, look, it's the champion player name."
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
Like in like when you're like going to the battle tower, do you mean?
no, it's like in the town somewhere, I think.
Just in the town. I mean,
Yeah.
I can look at that. I have a
Yeah.
copy of Ruby.
Okay, yeah. Um, I know it might not even be Lilikov, but I know that there is a place where like it, there's some sort of like thing where you can go and they'll be like, "Oh, look, it's the champion," and I know for a fact that that's a thing. I don't know
Yeah.
about the other generations, but I know that one off the top of
I
my head.
know for a fact,
Yeah.
like okay. So there in Generation 4 at least,
Yeah.
there's a guy that'll sail you to like the post game island with like the battle tower and
Mhm.
everything. And so
Mhm.
he's like, okay, I have a dream
Yeah.
to take,
Mhm.
some Pokemon champion to like let the Pokemon champion sail in my boat someday. And
Mhm.
then after you go and beat the championship, and become the champion and all that stuff,
Yeah.
then like your friend, Barry, your rival, is like, hey, this guy's like actually like taking everyone over there, and
Hmm.
it doesn't, there's no mention that you're the champion,
Yeah.
but he would love to take the champion,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
you go and talk to him. He doesn't
Yeah.
say, "Oh my gosh, you're the champion." He just,
Hmm.
you want to set
Hmm.
sail over to the fight area.
Yeah. Okay. I like it that you mentioned the battle tower because okay, so in order to get there, you have to have already become the champion. You know,
Yeah.
beaten the game. Does that make everybody there ex champions?
Wait a minute. How many regions do we have here?
No. Of the same region. I'm not suggesting that there's a region for every single person that is in there. I'm suggesting that what if like the position of champion is just so volatile in regions other than Galar, um, that like it's just being like given to
Okay,
people
I
like
can
left
beat
and
that
right.
right now. I can
Yeah.
even confirm that right now
Yeah.
because
Mm-hmm.
in Platinum,
Yeah.
when you beat the game,
Mm-hmm.
Professor Rowan, he says, I haven't been here for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
in like the Hall of
Mm.
Fame area.
Yeah.
And so the last time, and he hints that the last time he was there was when he went with Cynthia.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So get deconfirmed, at least in Sinnoh.
Okay. But what if there are an unknown number of like other officials, like maybe there's more people that are certified to in Sinnoh, because maybe maybe Hoenn has different laws, because I know for a fact that like only the professor can enter, but
Mm-hmm.
what if like maybe in Sinnoh specifically, the laws are different and there's like different unknown league officials that can also that like can also welcome in new champions, and the professor
Yeah.
happens to be coming in for you because Cynthia was there for a while.
Mm. Okay, then why can Barry go? Barry was never champion.
According to
According to the fact that he was never, because, I mean, I'm, I guess, okay, because the right before you walk in to the Elite Four,
mm-hmm.
fight Barry.
Yep.
You beat Barry.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I'm going to come and challenge the Elite Four again."
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like, "I'm gonna get even stronger than you,"
Yeah.
and then he runs away, and
Mm-hmm.
then you go in and beat the Elite Four, and right after you beat the Elite Four, he gets on the boat. There was no time
Yeah.
for him, unless there's like some time passes. between the credits rolling and you waking up at your house.
He's champion for the duration of the credits.
Yes. Wow, we are really getting into the nitty gritties here.
Yeah, but it's fun and it's interesting. So I'd like to do this. So, um, just coming back to like more generally, like the battle tower, like the post champion facilities,
Mm-hmm.
like you have to be champion in order to get there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's never explicitly mentioned that you have to be champion.
Right.
It's
Yeah. It's more like yeah. I mean, obviously the out of universe answer is because these trainers are strong and you need to be
mm-hmm.
be able to be like a competent trainer in order to do it, and it's supposed to be harder than the champion. So
like just had no mode of transportation to get there,
yeah,
and conveniently popped up
yeah,
once you became the champion.
yeah, right. So does that make everyone there stranded there? Does that make maybe it's just like a an indigenous village and they just got really good at Pokemon amongst themselves, and maybe like you're the first person to come there, and you're
I mean,
welcomed because you're the new champion. Does that make sense?
then why do they have Pokemon from so many different regions?
I don't know. There, and apparently in Pokemon you can have a lot of technology that does not necessarily make you very advanced. Um, like the entire Alola region.
True.
It takes
there are some
it takes
weird
something
things.
it takes something other than advanced technology to be like a highly prestigious civilization in Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are right. Like there definitely are people. There's like houses in those areas. I know that
Yeah.
for sure.
Right.
Like in the big areas, there's houses and there's people in those houses. And that makes you assume they live there.
Right.
But I mean, I don't know. And most of the times you sail there.
Yes.
So I mean, unless they only ordered a one-way ticket, they shouldn't be stranded there.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like it holds up continuity wise.
Yeah.
In the
For them to not be, for them to just be residents
sense.
of the region.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, but then there's like also the thing of like every time you rebattle the champion, like you're not the champion that is rebattled. They didn't fix this until Generation 7. And that's like its own thing. Like that's a special region, and then Generation 8 completely is changing up the formula. They don't have an Elite 4. So it's clearly things are clearly different in the two most recent regions, which in the Pokemon world should not be a coincidence because every region is equal. It's not like it's not like it's a
What?
It's not like those are the newest or the oldest regions. There is a theory that the Galar games take place at a different time period. I think it's before the other games.
Before the other games.
The reasoning being that like in these games there's some sort of reference to like someone, like I think it's like oh like oh no not before, after. The reason being that like Mustard from his like 50 years ago picture has like a thing with Pokeballs on it, but in I think it's Kanto, there's like a thing where it's like Professor Oak is like, when I was growing up there weren't Pokeballs or something like that. So that's where the theory comes from. And it's like they're probably around the same age.
I mean, yeah, I feel like they do occur at different times.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, yeah, and Red never went there. I mean, I guess that
Hmm.
the theory holds
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. So maybe by the time of the Galar games, the Pokemon League has substantially evolved and had time to get corrupted by Chairman Rose, you know.
Yeah. No, I definitely I see that as a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and all the technology that they have access to
Yeah.
would also go to that. Like, how big the stadiums are in literally every city.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah. I feel like as the Pokemon League became like a more notable thing,
Mm-hmm.
they got enough funding to get together these giant stadiums
Yeah.
and such. You know, it's like like if you think about like the very first gym in Pokemon, like Brock's gym, like think about the first of all what the building looks like from the outside. And then what it looks like on the inside. Like even in the anime, it's not. I mean, all the anime stadiums are big by game standards, but like it's a
Yeah.
room with some boulders in it, with barely any like,
Mm-hmm.
and
With
it
some
has an
person.
Onyx. As Onyx takes up like half the room if you think about it, like it should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not that it does, not that it ever will. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but and then like the next gym after that, like Misty Gym, is like barely big enough for like a regular swimming pool with no changing rooms and no bathrooms. There's no room for any of that. There's just room for the pool.
Yeah.
And that's also where you have to have the battle. So clearly they're on a bit of a tight budget.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I mean, is there any bathrooms anywhere in the Pokemon world?
Nope.
Oh no. Well, that's a problem.
And
Yeah.
thus,
Well, that's the Uncanny Valley comes in. You can make up, you can imagine there being bathrooms.
thus you can obtain an unlimited number of Trubbish.
Oh, hoorah. Yes, and you can make as much, like, I don't know, mulch as you possibly need.
Yes, yes, yes. The soil has returned to its soft and loomy state.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure is the exact quote. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, you can. Mulch is a thing in Generation 4, and you just buy it off this lady.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But she said it's made of Pokemon manure, not people manure.
Hmm.
So,
Well, but is that only the result of like the ethics board?
I mean, maybe. But that does beg the question.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if a Pokemon needs to, like, use the bathroom, but it's in a Pokeball?
Do Pokemon have like bodily functions while they're in Pokeballs, or are they just digitized into information?
Hmm.
Is it like a save state?
Well, how do they break out if they're just information?
So,
And Pokeballs are weird.
yeah, Pokeballs are weird. Well, we know that like a Pokemon has to be in its Pokeball in order to be stored via the PC. But that point about like maybe what I would imagine is maybe that's like the digitization process failing. Like sort of like a scanner. Like if your scanner messes up while you're scanning in a photo, then you just have to stick with your physical copy of that photo, right? So maybe Pokemon
I guess.
the same way, and it's like, and maybe the catch rate has to do with like it's harder to I don't know, scan in a Pokemon like Mewtwo because you have to account for like all of its power and like maybe like all of its power takes like it's like having like a higher resolution, like you don't want to like skimp on that. I don't know.
Okay, but like then why would a Pokemon being weak make the catch rate higher. Like, why would a Pokemon with full health be a lot harder to catch than a Pokemon with 1 health?
Because you don't have to digitize as much health. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to. It's good that
Yeah,
you're. It's good that
I
you're
don't think it can
asking
be
these questions.
understood.
I don't know.
And
So.
that's why Pokeballs don't exist in our world.
Yeah, because they're logically impossible.
Yes, but you can buy one for $200, which honestly isn't a bad deal.
Considering how much money is going around in Pokemon, I think they've even said like the Pokédollar is based on the yen, which is basically like our cent.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, so you can buy. So it's like $2 a pop.
$2 for.
And they're willing to give away. They're willing to give them away for free and paint them white as Premier Balls. So they're clearly not like expensive. They're clearly like trying to think of something that's like comparable in both usefulness and price. And I can't really think of maybe
like I mean, I can't think of anything like,
a ream of paper.
What would be as useful as a Pokeball?
Well, in our world, a Pokeball will be entirely useless because it's used for catching Pokemon which don't exist in this world. But that's besides the point.
Or is it? What would happen if you threw it at a person?
Okay, so I know that in the anime, there's this one when Ash meets Iris. It is like a thing where like Ash throws a Pokeball at Iris because she keeps her Axew in her hair or something.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. And he's like, that doesn't look like how the Dex says it's supposed to look like, but I'm gonna try and catch it anyway.
Okay.
And
wait, yeah, I think it throws a Pokeball at Misty too, come to think of it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, continue, yeah.
Yeah, if we're talking games continuity, Green, who is a little bit insane, tries to throw like 10 Pokeballs at the player.
Yeah, in a cerulean cave, yeah.
Yeah, so there's that.
There's something inside them.
Yeah.
That just detects if they're human or not, so they just bounce off. Huh?
Yeah. Maybe humans just have a catch rate of 0.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
That not even a Master Ball can overcome. Because
doesn't even try.
But if we have a catch rate of 0, then why don't all psychic types have a catch rate of 0? Because they're smarter than us. So
because they're not human, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know. The Pokeball is a strange thing.
Yes, indeed. It is a strange thing, and I don't think we'll finish.
Things like that just weren't intended to be thought that, like...
Yeah.
When the game was first designed...
Yeah.
They just didn't think people would think this hard about that sort of stuff.
They didn't even think they'd be able to make the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had to pitch it multiple times. Like, we're gonna make this game called Kapumon.
Mm-hmm.
Any takers? Then finally they were able to make it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised that it
took a while.
People wanted to take it because, like, gosh dang. That's like, the most in-depth game that the original Game Boy ever saw. Like,
yeah.
Like, geez.
Yeah. But they didn't see it as, like, breaking any ground. So, like, nah. Because, like, games are supposed to be, like, trying to be more realistic and trying to be more deep on the story, and the depth of the Pokemon Red and Blue story is...
Honestly, it's not a bad story. Like, at least for a time that early.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have solid... Like, I I guess I wouldn't say character development, but like
Those characters
you
don't
know,
develop.
like you
They're just
have
flat.
you've got Blue. He's
Yeah.
your rival.
Yeah.
It's always one step ahead of you, and then
Mm-hmm.
finally at the end of the game, you can overtake him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I feel like that's a good enough plot for a game that old.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I
But
don't
I
know.
but I
Sorry, I've
feel
been
like at the
playing so
time
much
they didn't
devil's
feel like it
advocate
was a
today.
very good plot because they almost rejected it. I think. Who knows? Maybe I'm thinking of something entirely different.
Mm, yeah,
So we talked about Pokeballs. We talked about how many X champions there were of certain
been a very
regions.
eventful discussion. Well,
Yes.
okay. The thing that I was forgetting about saying,
Oh.
for now, is I really, 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 really like how the atmosphere for gym battles is in Sword and Shield. It
Mm.
is
Yeah.
amazing. Like I love gym battles in that game. First off, it's got a dynamic music track,
Mm-hmm.
which like it literally changes depending on
Yep.
what's is so cool. And it's just like just the ambiance of the whole thing. Like
Yeah.
you're for this giant stadium of people. You're not just in this building
Yeah. That's cool.
fighting Brock, just you and Brock.
Uh huh.
But, oh no, this is a
Yeah.
sport that people come to watch. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like it's really cool to
Yeah.
just think about that sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean that's another point in favor of the Galar games taking place in the future because like Pokemon got bigger,
Mm-hmm.
and so it started to become a spectator sport.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no, no,
like if we
I
think about
can't
the
think of
average Ash Ketchum gym battle, how many spectators are there? Like if we
like
really think about it, like
his two companions.
yep, two, two. Sometimes then there's a couple more.
Yeah.
Um, like I think like the very first one with like Brock had like all of Brock's brothers and sisters. I want to say.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It's never it's never jam packed,
Mm-hmm.
but the like the big like exhibition matches and stuff and like the champion matches do get spectators in the anime.
Yeah.
So
No,
what
they
I'm thinking
definitely do.
is
Yeah,
like
you're right.
it starts out where people just watch like the finals and then there starts to be like more demand for like maybe like watching Elite Four matches, and then there starts
Whoa.
to be demand for like watching the gym battles, and then the entire season is aired on all the big networks because that's a thing.
Wow. Yeah, you might be right. Mm.
Um, like I know that like by the time of Generation 6 they were doing like they had like TV specials on like each of the gym leaders.
Mm-hmm.
um
Yeah.
so
Wait, when were Rotom phones a thing? Was that a Generation 7 thing?
no, so in Generation 7 there was the Rotom Dex, which is not a Rotom phone,
Okay.
and it although it was kind of similar, although kind of not, it was much more rudimentary.
Yeah.
And before that there was never a Rotom anything except like the Pokemon itself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Huh. So yeah, like definitely that's a lot more advanced than just the Pokebit deck
Mm-hmm.
because it's not only the Pokédex.
Yeah.
Like I remember in the train scene, they like take it out and just start looking up things about the wild area.
Yeah.
So it definitely doubles, like, it's an internet connection for sure,
Right. Yeah.
which says, that definitely shows that they're very technologically
Yeah.
big.
Right.
And I know that in Generation 2, the radio was a thing,
Yeah.
but I don't think there was any such thing as, like, the internet or, cell phones, anything
No.
along.
Yeah. Yeah. You're definitely right about. Hmm. So maybe it's like 100 years because we're like 100 years after radio becoming really big, like in our world. So maybe it is like 100 years. So That could be interesting, like determining the amount of time,
Yeah.
because yeah, like at that point in time, like no, but they had TVs in Generation One, so it
Oh yeah,
can't
they do.
be that long. I feel like if anything,
Mm.
that like the Galar games take place roughly, hmm, like long enough ago that there's still people alive who are alive back in. I'm gonna say like back when the first champion of Alola, which would be the player character, um,
Mm-hmm.
but they would have had to be young.
Yeah.
They
No, that
couldn't,
makes sense. Yeah.
you know,
Like within a single lifetime, right?
right? Like I would imagine that like an Opal was was probably around at the time that the rest of the games take. You know
Okay.
what? I'm gonna say when they banned Mega Evolution, because
Ooh.
they don't have Mega Evolution, and the explanation that I've just internalized for that is like it was banned. Because how else, you know? And
I mean,
what?
the
Talk.
thing with Mega Evolution though
Yeah.
was it was like, the bond between the
Mm-hmm.
trainer and the
Yeah.
Pokemon. How could they ban something that's so special?
Too much property damage. I don't know.
And so Gigantamaxing is fine.
Well, it's fine under the corrupt league, and maybe,
True.
or maybe Gigantamax Pokemon are don't actually get that big, and maybe they're just like holograms, kind of.
Wait, but they send out shockwaves.
Yeah. I don't know.
And they
Maybe,
still
they
damage the
just
opposing Pokemon.
have better safety regulations, and so they're able to do that.
Yeah. Well,
But
I
it's
know.
become like a kind of like cultural thing of like you don't use
Yeah.
megas.
I know in the anime, when the Gigantamax Pokemon were like fighting and stuff, there's like a big shield set up to protect all the spectators.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And there are structures. I know that like in Generation 6, starting in Generation 6 for like the Wi-Fi battle and like the online battles, there's like blue outlines of spectators that kind of go like that where they're really basic.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's clearly like it's clearly starting to be a spectator sport by generations 6 and 7. And then by generation 8 you need like a gigantic stadium.
Yeah, no, I'm really interested to see, the next game that they remake. Like, I'm assuming that the remake is going to be just like in the exact same time period that the original game was based off of, since we are using the same characters. At least
Right.
we were Mega Rupee, now the Sapphire.
The precedents are already there that it
Yeah.
takes place in the same time.
So if they
we can
do
just
something
not
like, okay,
really
now
focus on Let's Go.
let's say well, I know that Let's Go is a parallel universe because, yeah, well, you just, yeah. But so if they say, okay, let's say they remake Diamond and Pearl, and instead of the Poketech, it's just like another Rotom film. Like that's gonna be kind of confusing, especially if we're playing as Dawn and Lucas.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that they could do. That I know. Actually, you don't know, so I'm gonna look this up. It's definitely an alternate universe.
Yeah, and Let's Go.
No, I'm saying like remakes to original. Okay, so the most recent remakes compared to the original, I know that like there's like there's an Aqua admin whose hair is completely different. So it's clearly an alternate universe.
Well,
Because
I mean,
or it's a sequel, and she dyed her hair.
no, it can't be a
Can't be a
sequel
sequel
because the exact
yeah,
same
right,
things
because the
happen.
exact same
And
things
the
happen.
characters, no, okay.
Yes.
Andrew, you can't
Right.
just say, oh, this person's hair was dyed differently, so
Mhm.
obviously it's an alternate universe. What else could it be?
What else could it be?
I don't know. Like maybe they just didn't make this. They didn't make the character model right. Like it's not like they're gonna. Now, I don't know. I don't know if they look at the original sprites when they make their character models. I'm sure
If they
they
didn't
do.
look at if they didn't look at the original sprites, the characters would look very different because they would only
but the
have a
thing,
description. So
right,
they have
is
yeah.
that it's a representation of what that character would be.
Like I had
Like,
my one little piece of evidence, and if it doesn't amount to anything, it doesn't amount to anything.
okay.
Moving on then.
Well, okay. Wait. I wasn't
Yeah.
done with my point though.
Okay, go on with your point.
Like, you know how there's an evil team,
Yeah.
in every, but there's only one male sprite and one female sprite for each of the members of the male team.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that each Team Rocket grunt looks exactly the same as one another. There's just one sprite that was made.
Let's play a game called Which Evil Team is Most Likely to Actually Be Recruiting Clones?
Okay. Well, maybe we're not talking. All right. Well, it doesn't have to be Team Galactic. I don't know, Magma. All the males look the same, and all the females.
I know that they all do, but and I'm saying, obviously they don't actually look all the same.
Yeah.
I feel like okay, so and basically my mind went straight to like cloning. I feel like
no, because the uncanny valley.
yeah,
Again,
right.
that
Also,
like,
they're just not gonna make enough sprites and models for every single grunt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But it is kind of weird though to see like each like Team Yell male.
Oh yeah.
Be kind of fat, and then each Team Yell female just not be fat at all. Like I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Do you have anything else that you want to bring up? Because we're been going for quite a while now.
I really don't think that I have anything else to say. So maybe like my closing thoughts is like I'm just make me wonder about the evil teams. Like, are any of them recruiting clones? Is that possible? Would it be Team Rocket because they've worked with cloning?
Why would Team Yell be recruiting clones though?
It wouldn't be Team Yell.
But they look the same.
I'm saying that could be an explanation for up to some of the evil teams. Definitely not all of them.
Yeah.
So we've got to still think. But
I mean, I don't know. You could kind of make the argument with Team Rocket, but like, because I mean, they technically made a clone.
Yeah.
But like that's so inefficient. But I can't think of any reason for Team Aqua or Team Magma.
Yeah.
And Team Galactic didn't really have anything to do with that sort of thing. I mean, I know they had a lot of technology and money. So I guess it's possible.
They kind of all had a lot of technology and money.
Yeah.
Except the recent ones.
Well, I wouldn't say Team Magma and Team Aqua did. Like, they just had these hideouts and caves.
Yeah, well, how realistic was their goal of because they were going to utilize the legendary Pokemon, so they probably didn't really actually have a ton of money.
Yeah.
That said, pretty sure everything that any of them have is probably stolen, so Does it even matter?
I don't think Team Plasma. Those guys were kind of chill.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, covered a lot, and I think that we can be ready to wrap things up.
All right, yeah, that is good for me.
Okay, so thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you're new around here. I will see you next time, and Connor would like to say.
I would like to say that you all are very special and that you should also hit the bell. You forgot to say that.
Right. All right. Tower Duo out.